All right, we're on to part 3 of the video for guns and ammo. All right, now we're going to look at the cartridge firing sequence. So this is a look at the internal of the barrel of the gun, and then you have the cartridge in here. So basically what is happening is you have the cartridge in the chamber. You then have the firing pin strikes the primer and ignites the priming compound. The flame generated by the priming compound ignites the charge. Powder burns rapidly in hot, high pressure of gas. It then pushes the bullet out through the bore at a high speed. And as the bullet exits the muzzle, the hot gas makes a bang. That's why you hear the bang. And then that cartridge empty case is extracted. All right, this is a 40 caliber bullet. We're kind of comparing it because a lot of cops utilize 40s and 45s. Federal law enforcement, a lot of them use 9mm, but I'm just going to kind of show you the difference. This is a 45. This is a hollow point. We'll talk about that as well. And again, 9mm. So this is looking at the difference between a 9mm and a 45, the size of the difference of the bullets. This is a 9mm. All right, and then I just said, if you looked back, you have a regular bullet, and then you have hollow points. And the reason a lot of law enforcement uses hollow points is because instead of, think of a hot knife going through butter. A regular bullet such as this, when it enters the human body, like a knife through butter, just slides through, where hollow point hits and damages. Which when you are shooting somebody, your aim is to kill. That's the only reason you fire a gun in law enforcement. All right, this is a great video. It's looking at basically the firing kind of slowed down where you can actually see the process we just went through of the gas and the bullet coming out. This is such a great picture. And once the bullet comes out, this is the extractor where the empty cartridge case comes out. And this is, again, just look at your bullets coming up and the bullet coming out of the barrel. All right, we're gonna this is a slow motion of a gun. We'll start again watching this video, but I will not show the whole video just due to the fact that it's 9 minutes, and you can go back and watch it on your own. It's called Handguns for Dummies. It's a really great video, but it talks to you kind of about how bullets work, but we'll watch a little bit of it so you can kind of get an idea, and then hopefully go back and watch it at a later time. Sound. So there is the extractor from the magazine moving the cartridge up. You can see the bullet right here. And then you have the hammer, your trigger, comes back, hits the firing pin. All right, this video is kind of acting weird. Anyhow, all right. I'm not going to take any more time with it, but that is something that you can go back and look at on your own. All right. It's a really great video. All right. Magazine or clip. You've heard me been saying magazine, clip. You hear people saying the part that holds your cartridges that goes inside your weapon. Here we go. So a magazine holds shells under spring pressure, like you saw in an officer's 40 caliber handgun, semi-automatic handgun, where a cartridge clip has no springs, does not feed shells in the chamber. Instead, it slips the cartridges in a correct sequence. So this is, for example, an AR-15, and this would hold a 40 or 45 caliber or 9mm gun. All right, so again, you kind of heard me say firearms have manufacturers. These are different guns. So you have a Glock and a 6 Hour and a Beretta and Smith & Wesson. And like I said, cop guns, you have, we saw this earlier, but you have the size of the cartridge and then you have the manufacturer. So you could have a Glock 9mm, a Glock 40 or Glock 45, a 6 Hour 9mm, things like that. Cop guns, this is a Glock 45. This was the firearm that I actually carried. And this is called a Glock 21, or you can say a Glock 45. It's up to you. But that is the size of the bullet. This is another cop gun. It's a 6-hour 40 caliber. This was actually my first gun, which I loved. This is an H&K 9mm. Again, we saw this already, but this is a shotgun, Remington 12 gauge. All right, just let's look at some of the agencies out there. These are federal and what they carry. So ATFs carry 9mm 6 hours. DEA carries the same thing. Federal Sky Marshals carry 6-hour 9mm. FBI carries 9mm 6 hours and 45 Springfields. IRS agents carry 9mm 6 hours. So you're seeing a lot of 9mm, as you can tell, and you really find that in the federal law enforcement agency. Law enforcement, state, local. So, for example, Anchorage PD carries a 45 Glock 21s. Honolulu carries 9mm Smith & Weapons. LAPD, look at all these. They allow their officers to carry all these different weapons. So they can carry a Beretta 9mm, Smith & Wesson 9mm, or a 45 Glock 9mm, or a 40 caliber Glock 45. Pretty cool. So this is just kind of a look at different calibers and barrel sizes. So there's your 45, there's your 40. You can kind of get a really good look. Here's your 9mm. Those are your normal, and then there's a 22, which I said is a great starter gun. These are kind of, this is a kind of blurry, but this is kind of a look at the entry holes that a bullet makes for the different calibers. So here you have a 40 caliber and a 45. So those are the entrance, those are the exits. Those are the entrance of a 45, that's the exit wound. And these are just showing that what percentage of the calibers can stop somebody in one stop, or the number of shots it might take to incapacitate. And so if you look, for example, to 9mm, 34% of it stops in one shot compared to 45% with a 40 compared to 39%. So just a great little thing to kind of compare how many shots, but it kind of shows you that even with a 22, look at that, it takes less shots to incapacitate. Kind of interesting than for a 40 or 45. This is a less lethal shotgun. Most all departments carry them. They are colored orange so that officers know it's for less lethal options, but still can be lethal. These are basically bean bags. This is an octopus. They come in a shot shell, just like you would the pellets, but instead they're bean bags that really take the breath out of you, leave hues, bruises, and hopefully knock people down. They can be utilized on scenes, possibly where a suicidal suspect is standing way off and has a knife and trying to kill himself. The only thing is officers have to be trained specifically, and there's only so many. Not every officer has generally less lethal shotguns because they're expensive, and due to the budgets of different police departments, officers always don't have the option. So you always have to have lethal coverage. So if you only have one officer responding and the suspect has a knife, they cannot, per department policy, just have the less lethal force, because most policy says you have to have less lethal. So you have to have this shotgun, and then you have to have a regular gun too as well, because what if this doesn't work and the person tries to kill you? So therefore, if it's available, it's a great tool to utilize. There's also 40mm. These are great. They have little scopes with the red dots. They shoot, this always reminds me of racquetball, but you put this in, it's very easy. You put it in, and you put the little dot on the person and you aim, and it's a little squishy little ball. And again, it's a less lethal option. All right, one thing's to know, and this is called a paperweight. Why do I say that? Well, if you don't clean it and like it's all dirty and you don't load it, that's all it is. You could throw it at the suspect. So officers have to be ready and willing to put the time into their weapons to, in my opinion, every couple weeks, be shooting it, be cleaning it, be handling it, because it could save your life or the lives of those that you protect. So a couple gun safety rules that I just like to always put out there. All guns are always loaded. If you always treat guns this way, then you basically could never have an accident, meaning you always have the muzzle pointed where it's not going to kill somebody. You never let the muzzle cover anything which you're not willing to destroy and kill. So if you point that gun at anybody, even if you think it's unloaded, make sure you're ready to kill it. Keep your hand off the trigger until your sights are on the target. This is huge. I love watching old movies because cops would shoot buildings with their fingers hold it right in front of that trigger. And it's really bad because of different actions and jerking. A lot of times if an officer tripped, their hand would jerk and pull the trigger. So if you watch movies and they have the right kind of actual training by a professional to tell them, that finger will be along the slide of the gun until they're actually ready to kill something. All right, so just some other rules. Always keep a gun pointed in a safe direction. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to kill. And this is just kind of a look at what happens to a bullet inside the body. And that is it. All right, this does it for our guns and ammo videos.